afternoon, my friends. This is Paul. And last night, I was so addicted to this cheap DS game known as TouchMaster that I went to sleep, well, at the normal time, because I usually go to sleep late because I'm a night owl. TouchMaster has the unfortunate problem of, when it first came out, people were like, ugh, another minigame collection on the DS? But now that the DS is obsolete, now it's kind of just tucked away in a little sleeve on GameStop store shelves, and it's priced for like 99 cents or $2, and then people just don't want to buy it because it's so cheap that they figure it's going to be terrible. Thankfully, I did not fall into that trap. I gave myself a deal where I was able to get the game for free, and oh my goodness, never before in my life has the price for a game been so misleading. TouchMaster contains a huge smorgasbord of amazing classic games. You've got card games ranging from solitaire to extreme solitaire to Lucky 11. I don't exactly remember the names. Some of them are kind of ridiculous. There's also strategy games, puzzle games, even trivia. And because it's called TouchMaster, all it's going to care about is pointing and clicking. There are no minigames that involve sliding the stylus at all, and the game doesn't use buttons at all, save for pausing the game. In addition to that, the game's production values is kind of all over the place, because in games like Solitaire you can only do so much. But then when you're playing checkers, you play with frogs. And that's kind of amusing, because then there's also flies and dragonflies that you can put your frog on to get additional points. And there's a leaderboard too, believe it or not, where you can keep track of your high scores and even input your name like classic arcade games do. But now that Wi-Fi has been disconnected for DS games, the leaderboard seems kind of pointless unless you get this game used, which is pretty much inevitable at this point for almost any DS game. TouchMaster's quality is also kind of wishy-washy, as I vastly enjoyed most of the games, but there were just some that just weren't my type. They were either unintuitive to play or just this really bizarre genre, like the Wheel of Fortune spin-off. They also have some surprisingly adult content. Now, not adult enough where it's going to drastically affect the rating, but when I tried to play the trivia game, there were quite a few questions that's like, there are kids that are potentially playing this game? How are they supposed to know the answer to that? In fact, the trivia questions were so hard that I actually had to put kid as the category to make sure that I was even able to stand a chance. And even then, some of the questions were pretty hard. Overall, you're definitely not going to have a problem with the game's controls, as they work perfectly. Although you might have a problem with pretty much all of the action taking place on the bottom screen, and the touch screen serves little to no purpose aside from occasionally giving you a clue as to what to do next. This is especially apparent when you're playing the word search minigame, as I wasn't aware that the words I was supposed to be searching for was on the top screen at first. But boy, does this game get addictive when you get bonus rounds. And then you can keep going and see if you can finally beat that elusive high score from the last person that owned the game, of which I found out that there is no way at present that I know of how to delete said person's high score. So I'm always going to be competing with some random girl called Kim. I did beat her at checkers. I can at least say that much for bragging rights. The only true complaint I had against TouchMaster that was like truly a detriment against my playstyle was the timer. Every single stinking game has a timer, and as a result, people like me, where they like to take their time to think out and calculate what our next move should be, are constantly fighting the clock. And it's stupid, because when you're playing a game like checkers, you're supposed to take your time to think. But they even have a timer for that. And so it discourages careful experimentation, and instead almost expects you to rush through the game, and the faster you rush, the higher your high score is. If only there was a way to delete the high scores, then you wouldn't have that problem. but because Nintendo discontinued the Wi-Fi, you do. So in other words, you kinda can't really win. But the games themselves, for the most part, are solid. And there's more than enough variety where there should be something for everyone. Not everyone's going to agree with all of the choices, but this is definitely one of the best value collections on the DS. Especially since the previous collection I played, Scribblenauts collection, had only 2 games. This one has like too many to count. So again, if you're looking for a cheap DS game that has a ton of replayability, can't really get much better than TouchMaster, besides maybe Super Scribblenauts and its practically unlimited variety of words and adjective combinations. Thank you very much for watching, and until my next video, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.